men have this innate thing, this innate desire to just want to go out there. It doesn't matter. You just want to be out there and do something, anything. And that's what we did, right? We came here the same way that the son decided, I'm going to get my inheritance and just leave. But if I was the dad, I was going to tell him one thing. If you step out that door, you're never allowed to come back. Because you either become a man once you step out that door, or there's no word I can say of what you become when you come back to me, Sure, you're my son, right? But what is my main purpose? My number one purpose as a father is not to keep you alive. Or I guess when you cannot protect yourself, that's when my purpose is to keep you alive. But once you are grown enough that you can fight, you can argue, you can debate, you can haggle, you can talk to people, right, on your own. My purpose is to merely uphold your integrity as a man in terms of you're not allowed to do specific things in this household and you're allowed to do some other stuff. So in my view, the mistake was not giving the son the incentives for him to tell himself, there's no going back from this. You cannot come to America and just go back after, like nothing happened. There's all this, you change your life, who you are has changed, your mindset has changed. You cannot just go back to where you were. It's impossible. You will kill yourself. Like, it's literally impossible, because you'll see the difference between where you could be and where you are, and you'll think this is insane. And it would be the same with the son. If it comes back, I'll be like, no, absolutely not. You cannot be here. You not as a servant, but I don't even know who you are. Who are you? Go and make a name for yourself. And then if you bring value to this kingdom, in the literal sense, if you bring value to the economy, if you bring value to this country, you're allowed to be part of it. You're allowed to be part of society and have access to all the benefits and great things that maybe American democracy or the kingdom back then gave access to you.
Okay.
Right? So the same way you talk about access in the kingdom, like the wealth and stuff, America also provides that similar stuff. It provides you access to innovation, to talent, to a generally free democracy, to generally free market. And those are things that are unique to this country, and you're in this country for that reason. And that kingdom had whatever things made the kingdom unique. And if the son decided to leave, that means that was not the right place for him. So there's no reason why he should come back.
Wait, okay. I really appreciate that perspective that you give, particularly about what you would do as the father, right, in response to this. In the emphasis on the son made a choice, and as a father, like even wanting to uphold the integrity, like within his own household, but not accepting his son back. I think what's significant about that is that in this Jewish culture, or this like Roman occupied Jewish culture, that is exactly what the expectation was. So like, there's a couple of things in here that were really radical to the audience that Jesus is speaking to. So first of all, the idea that a son would come and ask for his inheritance is absolutely ridiculous. And no father is obligated to give the son his inheritance. In fact, the regular response in that culture would literally just be to beat the son. Like, dude, that's a ridiculous idea, right? So that's the first part where like he actually let him do it, and like that's insane, right? And then accepting him back too, right? Like this accepting him back as a son, even as a servant, was also not expected here, because again, he made the choice that he didn't want to be part of the family. Like, taking the inheritance is essentially saying you're dead to me, and then going off. So yeah, the idea of him coming back is actually ridiculous, and I think the tension that you're expressing is the exact tension that Jesus' audience would have. And in a regular kingdom, it does not make any sense. But then I think that's the really cool thing, because when Jesus teaches through parables, which are really just these like stories that include analogies that are relevant to the audience of his time, he is teaching us things about the kingdom of God that are very, very much the opposite, honestly, of the culture and kingdom that we are used to. So thank you, because that perspective is exactly the perspective that Jesus is wanting to address. Because this idea of redemption and adoption or coming back in is pretty much insane.
Yeah. No, Edvin, your perspective is invaluable or highly valuable because it speaks to the contrast, as Josh was saying, and thank you for sharing that as well, Josh. I guess in the follow-up to this discussion, I just wanted to point us quickly to the idea of citizenship in light of everything we've discussed, and we'll kind of close on this segment. So citizenship is a privilege. I left my country, you left your country, even our cameraman left his country for the opportunities that come with being a part of this country, right? There's opportunities here. There's privileges that come with being a citizen. I just became a citizen last year. Took me almost a decade to become, actually it took me 14 years to actually get my citizenship. Why do people leave everything to pursue citizenship? Because of the rights that come with it. I cannot be president of the United States. Why? Because I wasn't born here by the law, right? There's certain things that come with citizenship and true citizenship that you have to be born into, right? Even like the kingship, you have to be born into kingship. So citizenship is not like membership. You can't be taken. You can't take your citizenship away. Like, we have church membership. You can't take, like, if you're a citizen of a kingdom, you can't take that away. It's something that is a right and the privileges that come with that. Now, one of the most important concepts in the Bible is this concept that you need to be born again. Because once you are born again, you inherit the rights of a citizen, right? And to your point, we were dead. We were dead. We were actually separated by this immovable chasm that God's Son himself had to reconcile, to reunite us. So the reason that we can be a part of this kingdom is not because of anything that we've done. There was a price for that. So your thinking is correct. There was a sacrifice that was made for that. So the kingdom of heaven, if I were to try it now to talk to you about the history of America in 30 minutes, it would be impossible because there's too much to cover. For us to cover the entirety of the kingdom of heaven, the greatest kingdom, it would take forever. I just say this in closing. Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is like a field that a man found, and he sold everything he had to buy that field. Whatever this kingdom has for us, Jesus is trying to say it has everything that we need. If we have the access that comes with being a son of the king, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, right? So whatever is in this kingdom that Christ is trying to get us to enter into, it will provide all our needs, and we won't lack anything. So those are the closing thoughts there. We can't cover everything in this short segment, but I really appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts and your perspectives on the kingdom.